Hey guys, we are going back to our details page today, so stick around. Hello everyone, welcome to PencilStash. I'm Rachel. This is a weekly show about adult coloring, colored pencils, tips, and tricks. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, or better yet, the bell button, so that you're notified when I've uploaded new content. And if you're enjoying my videos, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. It helps me out a ton, and it actually helps new folks find my channel. So as you can see, the weather is so nice in Chicago, so we are outside today. But in just a moment, we're going to be going back to my desk to continue our work on our details page. If you remember from, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we started a page that was kind of a double spread grocery store or general shop, and it had a ton of tiny little details on it. So we're going to be picking up that page again and tackling a couple more of those little details. So let's head over to my desk and we'll get started. So here's where we left off from our first video in the series. If you haven't watched that one yet, you can find it on my channel, and I'll put a link to it down in the show notes, so you might want to check out that one too. This series is all about the details, pages like this, with tons of tiny little objects that could be quickly frustrating or even stop you from tackling a page like this altogether. So let's take them the same way we did last time, one at a time, object by object, so the page itself can come together in the end. Now, since we last did our video, I did a few more baskets and just a couple more pieces of these vegetables and stuff, but otherwise this is just where we left off. Let's continue first with these pears, and I'm going to share another little secret with you guys that I like to use. I've mentioned it in a few past videos, but I haven't shown you exactly what I do, so I'm going to do that right now. So take these pears. You might think you know what pears look like and what colors they are, etc., but do you really? It's always helpful to have a visual reference, even for familiar items. So I use my cell phone or my computer to pull up photos. And I'm just typing in pear into Google and then toggling to just have it show me images instead of websites. Now I can scroll and see all sorts of photos of pears. I really like these photos with a bit of this orangey red in them, as the green ones are a little bit too monotone. This is a great picture right here. I really like how it clearly defines where each color is placed, since it's an illustration. So we'll use this photo not only as our color guide, but also as a possible color placement guide as well. So I'll pull a couple of colors I think will work nicely. Let's start with this yellow here and just put an organic shape of it onto each pear in a slightly different spot from the one before. Then do the same with our two oranges. And try to keep them next to each other, but softly feather them together so that they'll blend nicely. And the same with our two greens. Now we'll blend. And you'll notice I'm using a circular motion on these with my blender because I don't mind the colors all sort of mixing together. As I blend different objects, I'll try to call out the direction of my pencil so that you can see what I'm talking about later on. Now I'll go back in with my darkest orange to add back in some of this darker color. All right, so let's do the same approach with these onions up here. And I think we'll do red onions since white onions and that kind of goldy yellow onion would be a bit too boring. The red onions will give us a great opportunity to use some deep reds and purples. So I'll look these up on Google Images as well so that I can get a great visual reference. This one right here is perfect. Great highlight. And that's what we're going to start with our white pencil. And just a little white highlight here in the corner. It's hard to tell in the video, but you should be able to see where you've put in your white on your own page. And yes, putting the white in is important as it'll act as a resist when you add in the reds, which will become more apparent here as we go along. Then we'll take our red and go around our white, really lightly feathering it around that white. And you don't have to be too precise with the rest of the red, since we'll be adding in some deeper purple plus blending it, so it'll get into all the white spaces. Let's add in this awesome purple, this black grape, which is becoming one of my favorite colors. Been using it a lot lately. And I'll try to use it lightly here, just with a really light hand, as the color will be a lot better once blended. And if you were heavy-handed here, it would just be too harsh of a color transition. Now I'll go back in with my red just to clean up some of these areas. And now we'll blend, not with our blender, but with the white pencil. This will help keep that white highlight intact. If you use your blender pencil, it kind of pushes some of those colors a little bit more into that white, where the white kind of just keeps it a little bit more crisp. Awesome, I love the way that these came out. Okay, so now I'm sort of getting to that point on the page where I'm wondering what colors I'll be coloring these shelves and these cases since they're such a big part of this page. So I think I'm going to address that now so that I can work around it in the rest of the page. There's so many baskets here and I really don't want too much brown or it'll end up being a bit too boring. So a lot of these wood baskets, a lot of these wood cases, I'm actually going to do in a color just to break it up a little bit. So I think I want this case here to be green. And while this large case may not seem like a detail, it very much is. There's going to be a lot of time and effort that goes into this one piece, so we'll treat it the same as we did a tiny little apple as its own object to really spend some time on. So first things first, we'll put down a nice even layer of this Prussian green. Yay! Anthony just surprised me with my favorite coffee. He's the best. I'm going to speed up this portion of the video just because there really isn't much to this step. And I just kind of want to skip to some of the more intricate detail work. All right, now that we have our base layer down, we'll use our espresso to put in our shadows and give this thing some character. And we'll use vertical lines at the back of this cabinet as our guide, the ones that the artist has already kind of given us. And you'll notice I'm using those up and down vertical strokes with my pencil here. And I'd love to say that there's a rhyme or a reason to the shapes that I'm kind of creating with these shadows, but it's really just instinctual, so follow your gut. Now I'm going to go over some of the green areas only. Now I'm going to go over some of the green areas only with this lime peel color, just very lightly. And what this is doing is just adding some vibrancy. Now in with black to make some truer shadows, and I'm following the same vertical strokes as I used before. And now in with my blender pencil to marry these all together. And you'll notice I'm using those same kind of vertical strokes even with my blender. You know, in certain spots I'll kind of go left to right, but for the most part I'm going to go up and down just to keep these colors sort of going in that same direction. Now just some light cleanup work where it needs some love. And for the outside of this cabinet now, I'd love to have it be a light mossy green. It'll add some brightness to this area now that we have the dark inside backing done. But first I want to go in with my espresso to create some shadows here along the top made by all these baskets. All right, now I'm going to put a foundational layer of this artichoke color, and I'm going to speed up the video here again, and then I'll go back in later on to kind of rough it up. All right, time to rough this thing up. It's lived a good life. It's in a general store. It probably sees a lot of action, lots and lots of kind of dings and some scuffs here at the corners and the edges. And now we'll finish it up with our blender. And there you go, that finishes up this video in our series. We may come back to this for another round of items in a week or two, and it's amazing how long just these couple of items took, but it's so well worth it to spend the time to really give it that character. All right, let's take a look at this week's featured work from Facebook and Instagram. If you're interested in submitting your pages to us as well, please submit on our Facebook group, PencilStash Adult Coloring Group, or you can post on Instagram by using the hashtag PencilStash. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If so, please be sure to leave me a like. It helps me so much and helps new folks find my channel. And subscribe to PencilStash if you haven't already. Also, I love hearing from you guys, so leave a comment if you have any questions. And you can watch many, many more tutorials from me by visiting my channel and checking out the rest of my videos. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.